Okay, I believe that it's now streaming. Is that right? Can't see anything on the stream health. Oh, is it loading? Okay. Let me just check the sound. Is that right? Yep. Okay. All right. Well, hi everyone. Um, this is an effort for me to basically try to do more online content. I've basically tried to, I tried to do really high level, high production quality content, and I think I set the bar too high for myself. So I'm going to force myself just to try to, get some things out there. Maybe they won't have the quality that I originally wanted for things, but that's partly why I've now converted the channel you're watching this on, called Tom Burns Extras, into what it is. It's a secondary channel now to my main channel, where I'll put the sort of main uh, videos that I'm really proud of and work a lot on that channel, and then on this channel I'll do some live streaming combined with whatever else I want. So I think in order to encourage me to actually do something and do some more, then it would be helpful for me to try to basically live stream, no editing, just raw. And then also I thought, okay, well, what can I actually do that might be interesting? Well, I thought what might be fun for me and for others is to go back and react to some conversations I've had with different people over the years. The first one is one that I still find amusing, and I actually quite like this guy. You might know him. His name is Jesse Lee Peterson. He's a conservative talkback kind of live streamer guy in the US. What's interesting about him to me is that he is African American, and he, I would say, holds some very interesting or surprising views for someone with that identity. So, like for example, I think that, I mean, I don't actually know, I suppose, enough to comment what he thinks exactly, but we'll go through it, I guess, in the reaction. Um, so yeah, without further ado, let's switch over to this. So the idea will be, I mean, we'll watch it. Um, I guess at normal speed. Normally I'd be watching this at like 2 times speed, but I know when I watch something, like someone reacting to something and they're watching it on 2 times speed, then if I watch it on if I watch their reaction on 2 times speed, then I'm actually watching 4 times speed, and it can start to get a bit difficult to actually watch it. So for the interest of viewers in the future, I'm doing this at normal time speed, but also probably it's helpful anyway for me to be able to sort of, you know, uh, follow the conversation and stop and comment along the way. Um, I thought about just reacting to the video itself, but I thought it's actually part of what's entertaining to me about Jesse Lee Peterson is some the people in his community. So might stop and look at some of these comments here because I sort of find them funny as well. Okay, so yeah, let's begin. I'm just gonna maybe start and stop it just to test to
Letter to
see. Yeah,
himself,
okay.
pretending
I just wanted to test if the audio is coming through. I think it is on OBS.
white people did it.
Yeah, this to put some context around this. Destiny Stephen Bennell II um, had a conversation with this guy. I think his first conversation. It must have been, I guess, sometime in 2019, early 2019, because this was streamed on the 21st of February 2019. And anyway, in that first conversation that he had with Jesse, there was a there was a really there were lots of meming moments, as most people I think who would be familiar with that video or interview are aware of. But on top of that, there was um, how do you say? There was a particular moment which was very memeable, but also perhaps what I thought was the most interesting to talk about in the Twitch gaming sphere or whatever was that he thought and he sort of Jesse thinks and states that gamers are betas, and of course that's like a very weird sort of phrase, but we'll get into what I think that means to him, and actually why I think that's kind of true, or at least I think he makes a point that we should take seriously, even us so-called gamers. Okay, and so then I called in through a Skype. It was a weird thing because I didn't want to pay money for like an international phone call, but he only had like a US phone number or something. So I think I somehow figured it out with Skype, and it was a free call. Amazingly, I don't know how to do that anymore, but anyway, let's go.
Pretending white people did it.
So you can already see he's kind of
Amazing.
amazing. Yeah, that's another one of his catchphrases.
He's in jail. No need to pray for him anymore. He gone.
All right, let's not pray for him.
Tom is a first-time caller out of Japan.
Here I am.
All the way.
If I remember correctly, it was like really late, and I don't know. I must have spent 30 minutes, or I don't know. It was a significant amount of time, like waiting for this call as well. So
Way from Japan. Tom, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Yeah. Hi, Jesse.
How you doing, Tom?
it's weird. It's weird to actually hear my voice in this, but um, yeah, I kind of like. I kind of like him already at this point, like in the conversation, because he's quite cordial and pleasant.
Yeah, I'm good. It's
What's-
pretty amazing, right, that we're talking all the way from Japan and America.
I know, it's mind-blowing. What time is it there?
It's like 1 a.m.
That's amazing. Thank you for staying up so late, man.
It's okay. I tried to call yesterday, but it was too late,
yeah.
unfortunately, in your show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually I tried calling twice. Yeah, but anyway. And also, I should say, throughout this conversation, I think I was trying to be ultra charitable, and I really wasn't trying to argue with him. I just wanted to kind of understand him.
Well, welcome today. I'm glad you're here.
And so some of the things I say might sound stupid or kind of come off as like quite naive or innocent or something. I would say that maybe in a Louis Theroux kind of sense, I was sort of hamming it up a little bit. But I'm not mischievous. I'm just trying to yeah and yeah, trying to get a genuine reaction or genuine information from him. But I love this chat already. Japanese, Satan is their daddy, amazing. Nippon, Nihonjin. I mean, yes, Nippon, the land of the rising sun. I mean, this. I suppose I'm not a regular, like I'm not a full-time chatter in these live stream spheres, but I always find the chat entertaining.
Hmm. So, Jesse, I didn't actually know you before you had your interview with Destiny, the gamer guy that you had on.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Amazing.
So that's where
Amazing.
so that's where I'm coming from. And and then it was really strange. I was on YouTube just watching some videos, and
think
then
I'm
I
trying
saw
to
one of your
flatter him,
videos
yeah.
again. I'd never seen you ever before, and then I see you on Destiny's
Running
YouTube
out of
channel, and
breath.
then again. So I was really surprised. Anyway, I just I was curious, really,
Yes.
what you think about gamers. Like, I think you think they're betas, right?
Beta!
But what does so
There's his catchphrase.
Are you a gamer?
yeah,
Are you a gamer?
yeah, I'm a gamer.
How old are you, Tom?
27.
Wow, 27. Oh man. Okay. So I mean, yeah, I'm now 30, 31.
Amazing.
Nearly 30.
Gamers, games are for kids who don't have to provide. They don't have to go to work. They're not. But men, you have to realize that, or you should realize that men has a higher position in.
So, I mean, he's descriptively right that that children play game, like when you think of like people playing games, like even this word games, is, heavily burdened with the idea that, yeah, of course, like it's just children's things. It's inherently an unserious thing to most people, that, and especially that word games. And he's also right that adults have more responsibilities, and I think that's kind of where he's going. Of course, he'll throughout this conversation and even through this term beta, be implying particular norms for especially male adults. Um, and I'm a male adult, so therefore he has prescriptions about that, which are, I think, mostly religiously inspired, but it's also deeply, related to his conservatism. Um, and I'll talk more about that, but I don't think that that's necessarily altogether evil or horrible.
In life given to them by God. And if
Yeah, so I'll just go back a bit, but yeah, he's already bringing up God.
not, you know, but men, you have to realize that, or you should realize that men has a higher position in life given to them by God. And if grown
Okay.
men past 18 are sitting around playing games all day, that is a big letdown to the women and children, because the woman absolutely have no other choice but to look up to the man.
I would say, if you're talking about a couple, then heterosexual couple, then yeah, it's not true what he's saying in these words, but I think it's true that when you're married to someone, and unless you want to leave them, you sort of have no choice but to accept at some level their flaws or actions. And certainly there are people that spend, I think, too much time playing games, and I think I admit that much in this conversation.
And if you are in a fallen state, whatever.
By the way, fallen state here is something that he uses a lot. I don't actually know the whole history behind that, but I think he basically means, it just means like take whatever ideals that I ascribe, and then if you're not matching those, then you're in this fallen state as a man.
State you're in, that's what you will become, because you're the light of the world and the salt of the earth. And if you notice, as men are becoming beta males, the women are making horrible decisions, doing bad things that are not good for the family, not good for the country, not good in the government, because they're imitating fallen men.
I actually think this is an interesting point. Of course, I don't believe that women in heterosexual relationships somehow mimic the flaws of their partners, but um, they are influenced by them, just like men are influenced by the flaws in their partners. So I think, yeah, it's natural to say that uh, the the issues that afflict one person or one part of a relationship, will have negative influence on the other part, and doesn't let them thrive and do everything else. So I wouldn't put it I wouldn't code it in all this language that is kind of misogynistic, but um, yeah, I kind of agree.
They cannot help it. They're subject to you. So when you sit around, do
Yeah, women are not subject to men.
you have a wife and kids?
No, no, no.
Oh, okay. Thank God. But you don't have time because you're playing games all day.
I think this is also interesting. So I forget how old Jesse is. I think he's older than he looks, or it looks to me. Um, and I think um, yeah, I think he has sort of a misapprehension about, you know, when someone says they're a gamer, what that means, how much time do they spend playing games. I think, if you were to really ask him, you know, well, I mean, actually, I think he's pretty good-natured and fair throughout this conversation from my memory, and honest. But um, but I think if he knew a little bit more about it, he would be a bit more welcoming, or uh, you know, he would accept a bit more about people playing video games if they said, "Oh, I'm a gamer, but I only play like 1 hour a week." I think I'd talk about that. And what's funny, of course, already these chats. Uh, for example, I need my video games. Don't do this, Jesse. I mean, that would be interesting too. Um, like to see, how does a conservative reaction, like a genuine conservative reaction, come into this? Genuine. By genuine, I'm just mean, like he's genuine. But genuine, I mean like with understanding that a gamer, so-called, is someone that just likes playing games most of the time. Or at least that's what it means to me. I agree, though, playing games all day and not having a job is beta. I mean, I kind of agree, except for this word beta, maybe.
Well, not every day. I might play maybe a few hours one night a week.
Amazing. What happened to you that as a 27-year-old man that you're in?
So this is interesting. I'm looking at the chat now a bit more. Hobbies aren't full time. What about family games? I think, yeah, these are already starting to sort of hint at the misapprehension. I mean, to be fair to Jesse, like, um, people that read books don't call themselves readers, or, I mean, I suppose we do, um, but that's not like when you're talking to someone in a dating profile, or I mean, I suppose in a dating profile you might say, I like reading books about this and this, um, but it doesn't become like a tag of your identity, a gamer, a reader, or what else, like a listener for the music or something, or a player. I suppose you have a musician, don't you? But I think Jesse would probably like that because it's like probably, at least it's productive in his mind, um, to some extent. But yeah, I mean, I think also, yeah, I should. Hmm, what would Jesse think about readers? I think he'd like it as long as they weren't reading like things that went against his conservatism.
Into game plan?
Well, it's just like socializing kind of with my friends because I live in Japan, but I'm from Australia originally. So, for example, like my brother and I will go online and play a game together, and we can talk like this at the same time. So it's kind of a social thing as well.
Amazing. And so, do you hope to be married with children one day?
Yeah, definitely. But for me, I probably will wait like maybe 5 or 10 years
And
at
why so
least.
long?
Well, I'm getting an advanced degree here in Japan, so I have to wait. I want to I want to wait until I have a good job, a good income before I have a family.
Amazing.
Again, more misapprehensions in the chat here. He don't ever leave the house and pees in a jar. I mean, I suppose that, yeah, this is maybe this is the entire problem, just a misapprehension of what a gamer is. Yeah.
I would recommend you get a job now, work 2 or 3 jobs, and get away from the
Oh,
gaming stuff because you're going to become addicted to it, and it's hard to get away from it once you're addicted to it.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, this is like another misapprehension. Like he doesn't understand what a PhD kind of is a job. Um, in most places, you get a salary, and in Japan, it's actually unusual to get a salary like I do. But yeah, which is it's totally wrong and needs to change. Also, graduate salaries need to be adjusted. uh, anyway, that's a whole nother story. I mean, yeah, let me think about this. So he said basically, you know, so in his mind, I'm I'm getting some degree. I suppose he might not value that. Probably he thinks that degrees are wasteful, perhaps, of time or money. I wouldn't think completely that he thinks that, but it's at least notable that he doesn't that he seems to think that doing 2 or 3 jobs is possible at the same time as full-time study. I suppose he might not know that it's full-time study. He might be guessing it's part-time study. In any case, he seems to not think that it's at least possible to do 2 or 3 jobs while studying, because he doesn't say to stop the study. But 2 or 3 jobs, he might also be thinking like, because I've just said before this that I want, to be more financially secure before having a family, and he might think that that's important. So therefore, um, therefore I ought to, uh, what is it? I ought to earn money to set myself up more quickly at this age. Maybe that's part of what he's thinking.
And so if you
Mm.
do get married, you're still going to be sitting around playing games, and your wife going to hate you for it.
Okay, yeah. So maybe that's kind of what he's thinking. Get into a better rhythm of being productive, getting yourself out there, doing things, not staying home all day playing games, and wasting your time playing games. I mean, yeah. But what I think I just said, didn't I, that I only play like 1 hour a week or something?
You really think so? Even if it's only like 1 hour a week or something?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
But what about like if I did some other hobby, like, sports or something?
Go out and build a car or build a house or do
Oh,
something productive
Yeah. This is the thing, productive.
that would bring enhancement to your family.
Enhancement, notice enhancement not just to you, but to your family. He's very family orientated.
Because these games are just set up in order to addict you and control you, that they may make money. They want to make money. They're using this stuff to make money off you. And if your kids see you doing,
I think this is perhaps his strongest point of all. Yeah, gaming is a for-profit industry, and I suppose like social media as well, and these industries suck a lot of time, and basically the more time you put into it, normally the more money you spend, the more profit they get. So addiction is part of it, and I think this is a good point. Of course, he's participating in that in a sense, but he's sort of participating in social media, that is, but then again, he's also trying to work within the system to you know spread his message or whatever. Um, it's funny, some of these comments as well. They just don't even um have, like, I just find it funny. It just doesn't seem to make any relevance. Australia and Japan are closed. Plane tickets are cheap, bruh. What was that in the comment? Is that virtual children? I play Sims and have a Sim family. I guess these are just a lot of them are funny. Oh, here's an interesting one. Gaming is good for retired folks only. Lol. I wonder actually. Um, yeah, I wonder what. Um, I wonder what he would think about retirees playing games. Presumably they ought to be productive. I think his main thing is, I mean, he could be a retiree, right? And he's not. I think his main thing is people waste their time on Earth, and I think that can be true.
it, then they're going to do it too, and then they'll become addicted to it. It's like a
mm,
waste of time.
Yeah, there it is. And it can be a complete waste of time. I don't think it is completely, just like it's not a waste of time to be making this video or for him to be talking. If we go to the nth degree and are always trying to do everything that's possible to do and be as productive as possible, we're ending up, not going to be that productive. We're going to be totally overburdened.
mm. But like, I don't know. I just like, from my perspective, for example, like it's really nice to even just play chess. I can play online chess with my brother and talk with him like I'm talking with you right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So do you think that's bad still?
playing chess is a little different than playing games, because when you play chess, you gotta think. You're learning. But
Yeah, so here's another misapprehension, right? So he's probably not aware of some of the more strategic games that might bring benefits to other things. I think as well, I would be surprised if, yeah, I'm a game tester. Um, yeah, I would be surprised if people in this chat didn't also say, um, look, people can get skills even if it's like a so-called mindless game. Um, there are still things that you can get from it. Even just a general interest in in computers. I think that's for a lot of people what games do, at least in earlier life.
playing games, you're not learning anything.
I guess the point is I'm not early in life anymore, so I shouldn't do that. I should focus on the productive element of enhancing my skills and yeah, and whatever. But people have to have breaks. People have to enjoy things. So I think this part is difficult to defend.
You're just sitting there like a robot playing games, right? Am I right about that?
Maybe. I guess there are some games which are very like mind-numbing. Maybe like Call of Duty or something. It's just
Right.
really
Yeah.
just shooting everything.
Right.
Okay, it's funny how this is actually exactly what I was saying.
But I think there are other games which are more strategic, like chess or something.
Yeah, play if you got it, and I understand that. If you want to play a game with your brother once a week, let it be chess or something serious that's going to help you to grow.
Okay.
And plus, chess is a boring game anyway until you learn it. And so through the boring aspect of it, you're learning and growing and becoming. It's good because being bored is good.
I guess I'm going to react to this, but chess is not boring.
It's like a challenge.
Okay.
So it's good for you.
It's like a challenge. I guess that's yeah. Maybe he finds chess challenging and therefore somehow boring, or maybe that's what he means. That it's just a challenge, and then that's good for you. I agree. Challenges are great.
Okay. Why?
So what now?
Sorry, why is it good to be boring? Bored?
Because a couple of things. It makes you realize you're not as important as you think. It makes you feel like nothing. Because when you're busy, you're on an ego trip and you believe you're important. But when you're bored, you see you're nothing. And that will cause you to give up the ego and allow God to take over your life.
Okay, mod out what he says about God, and everything there is very, very true, I think. Yeah, it's important to be reflective about things. It's important to talk about talk about this self-reflecting nature of things. We constantly sort of fill ourselves with stimuli, and I think it's probably too much. We should have more moments of reflection. I think actually there was a great study, or sort of meta study that I saw recently about the time that people spend in more primitive or hunter-gatherer communities, very isolated communities, let's say, and the time they spend, on certain activities. And there's anthropologists have like codes. They've developed like a coded system for like what people do, so that they can sort of compare it across these different communities. And there's a surprising amount of like just doing nothing, actually. Not like, there's a code for sitting and talking. There's a code for like lying down and sleeping. There's a code for all these different activities, and there's also just one of like very literally doing nothing, and it can often be the highest like frequency activity that people do, or one of the highest. I can't remember exactly. It's probably one of the highest, but in any case, it's a surprising amount, and not as an appeal to, okay, that's natural, or that's what our ancestors did, and that's therefore what we should do. But I think in the modern era, it's very easy to basically fill up all of our time with doing something that is not nothing. And indeed, a lot of people find a lot of value, and certainly I found value in things like yoga or meditation or these sorts of things. Indeed, I think as a religious guy, he's talking here about prayer or something which is, I think, equivalent physiologically, psychologically to what I would say is like yoga or meditation. And I think, yeah, that's a really good point.
And being bored, it causes you to discover yourself within, and your great talents start to come out. You find things to do that is very productive.
Amen. Amen, Jesse.
Okay.
You're not.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're not lost in your ego as you are when you're busy all the time. Most people who are busy all the time cannot handle the truth about themselves. They can't handle being bored. But boredom is really good for you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
It brings out
like
the
many
best in.
people, like, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like many people I know, like my friends, they can't stand like at the elevator, just to wait for the elevator without looking at their phone, for example.
True.
You
Yes,
know?
yes.
Yeah.
Because they
Sometimes I
feel
can't.
like they're nothing when reality catch up. When you're bored, reality catch
Mm.
up with you, and it says to you, you're not as important as you think you are. You're not. You're running away
Mm.
from the real you. It's really a perfect moment for you.
Oh yeah,
100%, 100% agree.
I think it's good. You can really think and dwell on things and
Yes,
reflect on things. Yeah, I think it's important.
absolutely.
Mm. But yeah, I'm not I'm an atheist, so I don't really subscribe to all the things about God. But I think it's a good idea to be reflective, definitely. So
What
I
does
appreciate your.
What does it mean to be an atheist? What does that mean?
For me, I guess maybe a more technical term might be agnostic. So for me, I don't I just don't know, and I don't have enough
You don't know
like
what,
I don't know whether like a God exists or anything like that.
right? And what
Yeah.
type of proof do you need?
Well, I guess you could never prove it 100%, right? You'd have to have some faith, but and that's with everything as well. I think that you have to have some faith, like in some medicine.
See what the chat is saying about this. Atheism equals giving up on reality. Okay. Uh, so bored is the best hobby. It's kind of funny. Yeah, let's see what people said about the boredom things. Um, idle mind is the devil's playground. That's interesting. I guess, yeah, they're sort of worried there, or sort of revealing something about the, maybe. Yeah, I won't speculate too much further. Uh, bored people do stupid things, Jesse. Okay, well, Jesse, you need to learn to program. What has this got to do with anything? Okay. Um, idle mind is bad. That's interesting, actually. Quite a few people are sort of saying boredom is not good. I totally disagree. I think that, you should listen to your preacher here. Um, the reason why boredom is good, or that an idle mind is good, is not in the sense that it will, um, that it will cause you to do bad things, but it'll hopefully cause you to dwell on why do you have thoughts of doing bad things, or why do you, um, yeah, the devil makes work for idle, idol hands. No, but idle hands. Okay, yeah, it's very interesting actually. I suppose actually in their worldview, um, possibly what they're thinking about is that when you're when you're not when I say a teenager or something isn't, let's say a teenage boy is not under supervision, that they're going to get up to trouble, and that's in general true. But there's even more trouble that you can get into in a religious framework, because you might, I don't know, that they might think, I don't know actually what Jesse thinks about like premarital sex, or alcohol or things like that. But I mean, of course, some of these behaviors can be risky, even from a secular viewpoint. But uh, yeah, maybe that's kind of what they're sort of worried about. But I mean, is that really an idle mind? I mean, yeah, I think that's possibly what they're thinking. Um, John 3:16. Yeah. Okay. Um, anyway, yeah. Let's see what. Let's see. Oh, he's going to hell. Yeah. Well, according to their framework, I am.
Medicine to work, it can only be proven
Let's
like
see if Jesse can save me.
99.9999% or something. So for me to get to some like very high percentage of certainty that God would exist, uh, yeah, I don't know. I suppose I'd know it when I see it.
So you don't know what type of proof you would need in order to believe.
I'd actually forgotten about this part of the conversation. I don't know where this goes, but if I had to answer it now, I mean, uh, I don't know. It has to be a supernatural thing, right? It has to broach physical or material kind of explanations or scientific explanations. I think that's kind of would be my standard definition. But even then, um, in a much more nuanced sense, I think that once anything, well, yeah, I mean, I basically just believe in mostly one realm of reality, um, and it's physical to me. But I do actually have some opinions about and give some credence to a platonic realm, but it's I wouldn't say it's constructed, but I'd have to think about it more and probably do like on how to present it. But yeah, I probably shouldn't do this here, but in any case, yeah, even if there was like some sort of spirituality or sort of religious things, supernatural things, I would instinctively say, okay, well, that's part of reality, and reality is physical, and therefore, in some sense, if this god or something uh, was actual, then they're sort of physical somehow. That's just what I'd say now, but let's see what I said then.
There is a God.
I mean, I suppose like if someone like if you said to me that you are God or something, and then you could somehow prove it, or you could say, I don't know, that you believe in God, and then I don't know, so it'd have to be something like supernatural, right? Some kind of almost magic thing.
It will have to be something magic, like magic.
Yeah. Well, like in a supernatural, thing. Yeah.
A
Something that I couldn't explain by any natural kind of causes. Yeah.
What caused you to breathe? Who caused you to breathe?
Like right now?
To have breath in your body. How did you get that?
Okay, he doesn't know basic physiology. But these are interesting. This one, if I met a man and he described himself as a gamer, it would be a huge turn off. Besides that, he went from saying he only plays a few hours a night to one night a week. He needs Gamers Anonymous. I mean, I guess it varied at that time. These days, I probably play I play Wordle daily. I like that, and I share the result with my with a little group with some family members, and we all share our result every day. And I still play chess, not very well. I mostly do puzzles these days, but I'll do you know uh, 5 or 10 minutes of puzzles maybe, or something like that. I get kind of I actually mostly do it when I'm about to fall asleep. Funnily enough, it ruins my score, but and recently I haven't been doing it as much because my score's like gotten a bit high. I think I'm like 1800 and something. Anyway, let's see, Jesse. I mean, you obviously didn't convert me, but
I like contracted my muscles to breathe.
You did what?
I like contracted the muscles in my chest,
When
and
did
then
you?
that created a pressure difference.
That's what caused you to breathe. Who breathed?
Yeah.
Who breathed life into you?
yeah, this is kind of funny. I mean, it's funny though. I mean, it seems like he's never even heard that explanation. But who breathed life into you? I mean, okay. I think it eventually comes back to the gamer stuff or beta, whatever.
Myself, my body.
How did you breathe life into your own body?
Well, my body did it, so.
And where did your body get it from?
The air. It just took it.
Like, it just was this way when I was born.
Also that, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
It's interesting because I think it must be that he talks to a lot of people that don't know how we breathe because I mean, but maybe that's not so obvious.
I think you're trying to say like maybe when I was born that like I wouldn't have breathed unless God did some supernatural act or something, or.
I mean, I think that's possibly what he's trying to say, right? yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is just stupid, but I guess also he's probably, the Christian texts are sort of quite. Um, I think they place a higher rhetorical value on this, breath of life and so on. And I guess in ancient times, or in those times when the texts were written, that maybe breathing wasn't actually known, like how we breathe, how it comes that someone stops breathing. And I guess in a sense, you don't have any way to test whether someone is dead other than or alive other than are they breathing or not. That's actually potentially the the source of that rhetoric, or the you know it would sort of make sense that, and I am almost sure certainly that they didn't know CPR techniques in ancient times, but who knows, might be wrong. um, uh, and yeah, okay, so yeah, maybe that's where that's coming from. And so if it's still, if you meet someone in the modern era who has a mystery about how do we breathe and how do we stop breathing, then maybe this is effective.
Or
Why do you
is that what you
feel?
mean?
Why do you feel sad at times, lonely and lost?
I don't necessarily feel that way right now, but
At times
I
when you
think
feel that way, what caused you to feel like something is missing in your life?
I mean, this is the case for everyone, right? Everyone has this feeling at some point or another. I just wanted to highlight this comment though. One of his viewers here. I gotta say, I don't agree on this one. We're gamers. I'm a woman and love PS4. Established in my career, work out every day, and manage the home for my husband. Okay. I got a day. Don't agree on this one. I gotta say. Uh, yeah. So clearly, there are people in his community probably that have an identity of gamers, but are sort of like me, and they're not consistently playing it 24/7 or something.
mm, well, I mean that's a very personal question. I suppose, yeah. I mean, I suppose, like for example, right? Like, so I'm living overseas, away from my family. Sometimes that can make me feel sad.
It feel like something is lost within.
When was this? This was in February 2019. So in later that year, um, of course, is when the first COVID cases started, and it was later that year, and then in January or February or so, that I was in Australia, and that was the last time I actually saw my family, um, until now. And I'm about to go back. I'm really happy about that. Well, flights need to be booked, but the plan is to go back and see them in July.
You or missing within
Mm,
you? Your family, when you're away from your family, you feel like something is missing
mm,
within you?
mm. I'm not sure. I think I definitely like. There's like, yeah, there is, I suppose, like a missing element. But like to fill that, like I can talk with my brother, for example, or have a like on Sunday I'm going to call my family and we're going to chat for probably a few hours. It's going to be really nice.
Amazing. This is about the
Okay, he's going to switch back to the gaming. I mean, just on that, yeah, I guess that's a personal and sort of unrelated thing to the main topic here. But people all experience something missing, or some missing element, or some sad moments in their life, and and that can be due to a host of reasons, and people deal with that in a host of ways. And religion is one way. I don't think that religion is normally the best way to do it, at least traditional religions. I think maybe more modern interpretations or practices of religion could be healthier. And the only reason I say that is because more traditional practices tend to sort of couch in other older societal kind of norms, which are not really to do with the religion necessarily or the belief system itself. And then on that basis, it sort of couches in, I don't know, things like that we're seeing in this chat, like sexism or misogyny or whatever. And yeah, anyway.
Game because they got to run. But got the gaming
Of course.
games. What do you think about my response about the gaming?
What do I think about it now? Let's see. Yeah, I agree, basically.
I think I agree that like there are some people that spend way too much time playing games, and it's very wasteful of their time.
Especially adult men.
Some adult men, yeah.
Yeah, basically the same opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that if you do it, even if you're kind of like playing like some like really boring game, like Call of Duty or something that doesn't require you to think so much,
Yes.
it can still, I think, be okay if it's like in moderation to socialize, because it's kind of like playing a sport or
I would say even if it's not to socialize, even if you're doing it on your own, it might be okay. In fact, yeah, it's totally okay.
something. It might not be the best thing, in my opinion, but it's.
I think, could it ever be the best thing? In rare cases, I guess it could be. Yeah, I mean, I guess the general point is that if gaming is like something you enjoy, you know, just and insert any hobby you like in there instead of gaming. If it's something you enjoy, it's not harming others. You're not addicted to it. You're not, or even I don't know. I don't want to go down that addiction rabbit hole, but you know, unless you can point to some really precise harms, then I think that are directly related to that. I think you should, you know, say that you know, accept the benefits, basically, in moderation as well.
It's like it's better than playing more of it or something.
Amazing.
Other things.
But when you do
All right.
sports, you're exercising with sport. You're getting something from that, but you're not getting
That's
anything from those games.
Well, for me, I'm getting a socialization with my family back.
Here's a pretty based take. I think everything is okay in moderation except pedophilia.
In
Well, I
Australia.
understand about, you know, the chess playing, that makes sense. Or maybe you communicate with your family, but to just sit around and play games as an adult male, that is not a pretty sight. It's not a pretty picture.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's logical. Everything in moderation. Our world is crumbling around us. Ain't nobody got time for games. You exercise your brain. Games are the devil. He's an arrogant white atheist. They trust facts. I love this comment section.
Yep. Tom, will you call me again? Great call.
Yeah, all right. Nice to talk with you, Jesse.
Would you sit around and watch movies all day?
Probably not alone, no.
But games are the same thing.
Honestly, I can't even stand watching movies. Well, sometimes I've binged, like, I suppose equivalent of movies, TV shows.
Well, not with my friends, right? Not if I'm socializing. That's how I think about it anyway.
Would you sit around watching movies all day with your friends?
Maybe, but not very frequently. Probably not all day, right?
All right.
You have to get outside.
Great call, Tom.
I wonder if Jesse has ever spent an entire day like just vegging out on the couch or around home and being lazy. I don't know. That might just be my disposition, but I think most people do that. Most people have an experience of like needing to have days where they are really resting. I think everyone needs to rest. I mean, it depends how serious you take, or not how serious you take, but it depends how you interpret your Christianity, Jesse. I mean, maybe you know, maybe some people would say you should rest on the Sabbath, right? But I mean, I've already sort of steelmanned, I think, what he's trying to say.
Tom, call me again, buddy. All the way from Japan.
Sure. All right.
When I come to Japan, I want to meet you and shake your hand.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're welcome to. I live in Okinawa. It's the most southern part of Japan. There's actually a lot of U.S. forces in Okinawa.
Are white people treated well in Japan?
I would definitely say now all foreigners have been treated very badly throughout COVID. Um, I mean, already in Japan, I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a long story about that as well. This was, yeah, okay. This was in February 2019. This was well before COVID and well before quite a few things that I've seen has made me uh, really disappointed with even just normal, everyday Japanese people.
Mm, maybe not sometimes, actually.
Really?
I think because the Japanese, culture is quite insular. Like
Japan
they were
is
cut off
shit.
from the rest of the world for a long time,
Uh-huh.
and so sometimes they have some bad misconceptions about white people or just foreign people generally.
Understatement of the century.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes.
Are they treated worse or better than they are in the United States in Japan?
White people.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I think probably the standard of people treating each other like is much better in Japan. But I haven't been to the United States, so I can't know for sure.
Are
But
white people
like I
treat?
could,
Go ahead.
but like in Australia, I could compare and say that like as a white person, I'm probably treated much better overall in Japan than in Australia.
I'm not sure I even agree with this anymore.
But
Really?
but then I think if I was Japanese, I would be treated even better if I was in Japan.
What is it? Last question. What is it
Mm.
like to be a white man and to allow these people of color into your country, and once they get in, they hate you? What does that feel like? They falsely
You mean
accuse
in
you?
I think you mean in Australia, yeah.
Yes. Uh huh.
Mm.
Yes.
I think like it feels a bit bad, but I understand that like there are some people who are racist or like mean to them, and they want to blame other people that look like the people that were mean to them, and those people might have looked like me. So I can understand why they feel that way, but it's not really fair.
I would never understand that if I were you, because the more you understand it, the more you allow them to get away with it without speaking up.
This word understand. I mean, when I say understand, I mean sort of, yeah, like just cognitively understand it, empathize with it. Because in my opinion, like the way to deal with problems is to first, in that sense, understand it. I wonder in what sense he's trying to say.
And they only get worse. They have no reason to be treating white people in that manner, nowhere.
Hang
I
on.
I would never understand that if I were you, because the more you understand it, the more you allow them to get away with it without speaking up.
Oh, without speaking up. Maybe, okay, yeah, maybe he's thinking of a very passive understanding and then not acting, not speaking up.
And they only get worse.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you don't speak up, if you don't act based on some understanding, then it's not gonna, those problems aren't gonna get better on their own, probably.
They have no reason to be treating white people in that manner, nowhere.
And yeah, I would say, as the conservatives say, all people. And I shouldn't also, yeah, I mean, I say as the conservatives say as if I'm not a conservative. Some people will say that I'm more conservative leaning, others will say I'm more left leaning, but I don't really care to classify myself, honestly.
I think it's not right to yeah retaliate with violence or anger if someone is treating you that way. But at least for me, I feel like if I can empathize with how they're feeling, then maybe I can help to make them understand that it's not the correct way to feel or act.
Are you afraid to speak up as a white man? Are you afraid to disagree with the people of color?
Mm, no, but I think it's if you want to be effective politically, you have to be a bit careful. Like at least in my experience, sometimes you say something and then people get very upset very quickly without listening to what you really said.
Yeah. I mean, this becomes basically, yeah, a discussion about uh, what is it that the leftist people like to say? Theory versus praxis, right?
Which is more important, to be a man of good or to be quiet and not speak out just for political reasons? Which is better for a human being?
Maybe the first one.
To speak up and be honest?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. Right on. Great call, man.
All right. Nice to talk with you, Jesse, and come and visit me in Okinawa.
I will. They call me Tom, too. And the black people do.
Really?
Yeah, Uncle Tom.
I remember this.
Oh, why?
Because black people hate the truth. They hate white people, and they hate any black that is not a part of their gang.
Oh,
Any black
okay.
person that don't hate white people and love what's right and love their country, they become an
Yeah.
Uncle Tom to black people in America, because most black people hate white folks.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that amazing?
Sure sounds
So to be clear, I absolutely know what Uncle Tom means. I just wanted to see what he said.
amazing. But Uncle Tom means something special in America. Like, not just, it doesn't mean like any person who's an uncle. It means something different.
It means good in reality, but because black people don't read, they don't know. They haven't found that out
okay.
yet.
All right.
Yeah.
I see. All right.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay. Bye, Jesse.
Bye, buddy. Call me again.
Okay.
Bye. Amazing. Let's go to.
All right, yeah. Well, thank you, Jesse, aka Uncle Tom. I wanted to just go back and look some of these comments. Cool. Not familiar with Uncle Tom's Cabin. Yeah, that's what I found, and it seems I got him. Japanese people are super conservative into their culture. There, spelt like over there. And as a white person, you don't fit in. They may not disrespect you, but then they're not super nice to you, boy. Stop lying, bud. That's interesting. Probably that at this time, like at the time of this recording, I would have like, I might have actually said, yeah, you're wrong. They are super nice to me compared to how I feel like the average person treats each other in Australia. But now I've become much more disappointed in the way that Japanese people even treat each other. And I mean, I suppose I've come to learn more about how Japanese people treat each other because, yeah, and maybe I can talk about this more another time, but in a in a superficial sense, Japanese people and potentially East Asian people treat each other quite well on a superficial level. But just underneath that, it can be really, really horrible stuff in my experience. I do love mid-80s Japanimation. I mean, I guess some of these chatters, pardon me, are speaking to each other, but some just seem to be completely out of nowhere. MAGA is bad. Like, where did someone say MAGA anything? Mr. Miyagi was pretty cool. I guess people are talking about animation. No group of people is treated. I don't know what that. Japan revolutionized American animation though, lol. Cooler is 100% beta. We give them the meaning because of how they were taught to us, but if we don't judge those words or give them emotion, at the end of the day they can't offend, but not everyone is at that state of... I can't even understand this. Japan is very degenerate. I mean, wow, some of these... Japan is nearly Muslim free. Japan are fun people. Japan has good theme parks. Japan bans Muslims and Islam. Smart people. Okay. To Japan, oh well, we don't care. Every single white person in Japan is a beta. Oh man. Okay, so of course I don't really subscribe completely to the beta thing except like ironically. Um, but it's not completely wrong in that ironic sense. And in a true sense, like a lot of I mean I would say oh, I'm not sure if they're saying every person or they're saying like every uncoupled white person in Japan. They might be saying like the people who are single, like that is without a partner, or they might be saying every single one. Um, but there are definitely some very strange people that come to live in Japan as foreigners. I mean, maybe that's partly why the foreigners here are treated badly, but I would say that the vast majority of foreigners, and stereotypically like white male foreigners and single ones at that, unmarried ones or uncoupled people, um, can be really weird, fetishizing um, Japanese women and even schoolgirls. Of course, there's a problem with that already, like within Japanese society, the over-sexualization of children, in my opinion, um, and uh, yeah, but the sort of people that come here sometimes are quite weird. And I'm someone that came to Japan not because I really wanted to come to Japan, although that was like a nice side benefit. I sort of wanted to come mainly, to come to the university that I'm at. So, you know, like, yeah, as I've sometimes said to people, like, there are people that come to Japan because they want to do something there, and like, there are people, yeah, how do I phrase it? That's right. It's something like, yeah, there are people who want to come to Japan and therefore do something in Japan, and there are people that want to do something, and it happens to be in Japan, so that's why they're here. So there are these two reasons why people come to Japan, because either they really want to come to Japan or they really just want to do this thing, and it happens to be in Japan. And I'm in that latter camp, which is I think a very very small minority. I would guess that in my experience, 80%, 90% of foreigners in Japan are in Japan because they really like Japan. They want to come to Japan. Yeah, but not everyone is like that. Um, yeah, I mean, I basically had the choice of coming to do my PhD here in Japan or maybe going to like the US or Europe. And I thought, pardon me, I thought that basically just geographically, time zone wise, it would be nicer to be in Japan and might be able to travel around Asia. Of course, that hasn't happened because of COVID. Uh, okay, I don't think there's many more insightful comments here. Um, anyway, this was just a test, just to see if I could do something like this. I think it's pretty clear that I can. I think I've set this up such that it will be sort of posted as a video to the channel as soon as I finish the stream. Um, I've had exactly 0 viewers this whole time, which I'm not going to be disappointed by or disheartened by. I hope that I have at least 1 viewer of this video as it's recorded. Um, okay, and I'm just going to type a test comment just because I'm sort of interested to see, um, how that goes. But all right, well, thank you to anyone that is watching this video in the future. I'm now super glad that I didn't do this on 2 times. Um, yeah, maybe leave a suggestion on other things I could react to. Um, I think that's the main thing that I want to start not doing. I'm not going to promise anything, but that's the sort of thing that I'm thinking of trying to do, because it's sort of easy to do. I can do it live, fuck it, let's do it live. Um, yeah, and yeah, I think it's good. So please leave your suggestions down below, and thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.